Farm, Ruby, and Parika. Those are the communities we visit this week on Westside Story. Hello Guyana and welcome to this week's edition of Westside Story. It is our first recorded edition of 2016 and we begin by focusing on farm. I know some of you, when you think about farm, you think about on the east bank of the Demerara, but no, this is still Westside Story. We're still focusing on communities in Region 3. And as you can see, I am standing here by the Farm Multipurpose Center. Today we're going to be talking about this project that is expected to be at a total of some $7 million. The idea is to rehabilitate the play center and of course the purpose center of itself. That's the building of itself. As you know, the government of Guyana is adamant when it comes to upgrading our communities and lifting the standard of living in our various communities so that we all can live as one. And this will also provide for something for the neighboring communities, for the young people in the neighboring communities to have something to do to occupy their times. People will be able to, well, when I say people, I mean the youths will be able to utilize this play field to get involved in different sporting activities, whether it be cricket, whether it be football, whatever they want to do, once they use it in a manner that will benefit them and benefit the community. So this week I want you to stay tuned as we begin by focusing on farm here, still in Region 3. Of course, this is West Side Story. And as the program progresses, I will show you some of what's happening in some of the other communities right here on the West Side. I am Malika Ramsey. Stay with West Side Story. I did say before that we were on the community of Farm, and of course this is Farm East Bank Essequibo, and we were talking about the Farm Multi-Purpose Center and what it will do for the community and even surrounding communities. During the first West Side Story program, you recalled you were introduced to most of the councillors who are responsible for what happens here on the West Side, and it is my pleasure today to welcome back to the program Miss Mandy Subdio. Of course, as you can recall, Mandy did tell you about the communities that she's responsible for. Unfortunately for us today, Farm is one of those communities. So Mandy will tell us all about this project and how Guyana will benefit, and she will even talk about the cost and so on. Mandy, welcome back to West Side Story.
Thank you, Malika. It's a pleasure being here on this program this morning. So basically this project was a campaign promised by the David Arthur Granger's administration and our Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu. During the campaign trail, when we came here to this village, we were told by the relatives that this particular village is one of the oldest villages in this part of the region. This village was bought by 26 slaves during the slave rebellion. After they had worked and they had earned their money, they bought this village and they gave it the name Farm. Today we're at the multipurpose center here in this community. This multipurpose center has been granted some rehabilitation work by this administration. And because of the large number of substance abuse problems that is being occurring in the environment and the neighboring villages, we thought that, you know, if the youths have somewhere that they can go and have recreational facilities so that they can socialize, we would have at least the problem. We can start to see what is causing the problems in some ways and how we can deal with the problem. So this area here, we had an uplift done on the play field, but there's still work to be completed. We also had on the building, there were some rectification works, there were some new windows added and some painting and so forth. So basically the youths of this area had nowhere for recreational activities. On the other village at the other end in Ruby, there is a play field there, and also this administration did some work there, because what we found was that most of the play fields, they were abandoned. They weren't anywhere that the youths could have gone to play or socialize or come together with their peers and discuss issues that were affecting them. So one of the initiatives is that the youths can come here and you have people in the communities, elders and doctors and teachers and so forth, coming out and socializing with them and finding out from them what is bothering them. Because you know, Malika, Recently, we had a set of incidents of suicide occurring in the country. So we're trying to see how we can get our youths and find out from them what is causing them to think to go down this way. Because suicide, it is a problem, but we're trying to work on it.
And hopefully this rehabilitating this center will help. Earlier when I was of course talking to the viewers as usual, I was telling them that so much can happen on a play field like this. For example, cricket is our thing in Guyana. There's cricket and there's football and so on. So let's talk about that. How do you intend to involve not just the young people but the young people who have an interest with specific focus on sporting activities?
Well, basically, the idea behind this is because the other village, Ruby, has another play field. We've decided that we're going to play football here. The community have decided that they're going to play football here because, if you have football and cricket on the same field, you would always have clash because the two sports require different surface to play on. So what happens, they say that they're going to play football here and they're going to play cricket in Ruby. And a lot of the youths from this area, mostly, they play football so that we can actually come together, and from here they can elevate into a regional level and we can go nationals afterwards. So everything is a step-by-step process that will take place, but it needs time to grow. As we all know, so things don't happen overnight. It needs, and you also need guidance. So that is why we involve the members of the community, the elder folks, and basically everybody that comes out, because this community, they do a lot of farming and they have professionals that work. So when they finish working in the afternoon, everybody can come out and put in their part and their input. And we can elevate from the community level to the regional level to the national level.
All right, great, Mandy. We certainly appreciate that. So, of course, this is Westside Story. Stay tuned. The next time we talk to Mandy will be in another community where she'll also talk about some ongoing developmental works. They're all being provided by the government of Guyana. That is the APNU+AFC government. And keep in mind, this is, again, I can't say this enough, it is all in the name of providing that good life that we did promise you during the 2015 regional and general elections. Stay tuned to Westside Story. The total cost expected to be expended by government for the playfield and multi-purpose center at Farm East Bank Essequibo is 7 million Guyana dollars. The residents of the farm community also spoke with Westside Story. Let's now hear from some of the residents, especially the youths of the community, on how they will benefit from the new, or I should say the rehabilitated farm multipurpose center.
Well, we use it around for play cricket, footballs, and other games, and at least we get a lot from the center and thing.
Okay, what sport you play?
Football.
You like football?
A lot.
All right, and you're looking forward to play on this field more now?
Yeah.
All right, you ever played on the field before it was rehabilitated?
Yeah. Yeah, but it do more better now and thing, so at least we can benefit a lot from it right now.
All right, one other thing. What team, there's a team that you play for or support?
No, we don't play for no team, but we got our own little friends and thing where we play on the field.
I'm just glad that we got this multi-purpose center and we feel so that we could end up able to come and enjoy ourselves and nice games playing and things on the multi-purpose center in farm, and at least now we're glad that people coming out and assisting me and them thing in every little way so that we could get the place in order so that we could keep more games afterly and let the place being nice.
Well, according to the ground, it's a good facility right now, but see, we need a little grading up to get the water pools out. That you can see some low spots.
Yes.
So that, it could be more solid and good at that.
Okay, so you're looking forward to that?
Yeah.
All right. It also in your estimation and what you're seeing around, how you think that the community, the youths and so on will react to it?
Well, it would be great for them because most time they go at Ruby ground to play. So they would have the home ground here, so they must be good out of the community.
We welcome you all here to our multi-purpose center and also a play field. And we are very much glad and proud about our ground that we have earned for this 2016.
So after many years, we are able to get a ground at a better condition. Even though the rain fall, we might be able to play on it after about an hour or so. Because before the ground was very, very low. the ground was very low. And as soon as the rain fall, like last night, you'll find a pool of water here. And I want to thank Mr. Norton in particular, because when he came and see the condition of the ground, it was a jungle. And that was the first thing he mentioned, that he's going to try, if the coalition happened to get into government, he would ensure that we get the ground lift, proper fence, or what be the case. I am still of the opinion that we need to live it a little more. After living in this very area, just a couple of hours from here, nearly 50 years. I know the condition, when the water raises up in here, it will still flood the place. So for now, we are thankful. Last week, Sunday, the residents of the area had a ball, and I was so happy that we could be able to use the ground and our center. Sitting on there looking at it, I was here laughing my head out a little while, but I had things to do.
Okay, all right.
And I am thankful for whatever we have. Thank you.
Yeah, we feel good about the rehabilitation because the youth then going to benefit the ground a lot, because right now we're preparing for play a match Sunday on the ground. Okay. So right now, I proud a great lot about this thing, because we're fighting for this since we was youth. And right now it's 50 years and it's now we get it. So right now we're just trying to elevate the youths them now to enjoy it.
Okay, so what role you display? You actually play football, or you coach or
play,
something?
you know, it's not a coach, we play ball, softball.
Softball.
Yeah, on the
All
field.
right. How often y'all just got every game?
Well, we start this game last week Sunday.
Okay.
So, you know, why is we home from Bush? We hope to get it every week, every Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good, thanks.
Just to elevate the ground and, you know, be proud about this.
Right.
I proud a great lot. I'm glad. I give enough thanks for this piece of ground where we get it and this piece of development. Because since I was a youth, it's 50 years now, and it's now we get it.
Westside Story also spoke with APNU+AFC Councillor Mandy Supdio about works done to a neighbouring playfield and the pavilion at Ruby. Now we're here at Ruby. This is neighbouring to farm. Ruby here on the East Bank, Essequibo. And Mandy is here with us again. As you can see in the shot that our cameraman is getting, the project that she's going to be talking about is this pavilion here in the playfield. She'll tell you the name of the playfield, the pavilion, who organized the works, the rehabilitative works on it, and so on. So let's hear now from Mandy. Mandy, talk to me.
Thank you, Malika. It's a pleasure again, and we're here in the village of Ruby, which I'm a villager of. In this village here, as I told you guys earlier, that this village usually plays cricket. It is the hobby of this village. So we have come to an agreement that we're going to play cricket here and we're going to play football at farm. So this ground here is called the Ruby Village Ground, and it houses a lot of cricketers. On Sundays when you're passing, going to the market, a lot of folks will stop and take shots, because most of the time, you know, you had the GT&T 10-10 that was going on. Well, there's another version of the game now. It's called 5-5. It's going down farther, limited overs, and it's a lot of hitting. So it's more excitement every Sunday out here. This ground had been plowed and rolled, compliments of the NDC, with the help of the region administration. And we also had the pavilion that we're seeing in the background. It was recently painted so that we can help to prevent the deterioration of the wood and the other materials that are used there on this ground. So the whole project behind this is that, as I told you earlier, this area here has a lot of substance abuse problem that is being happening. And one of the findings we found was that the youths don't have anywhere to have their sporting activities and recreational while they're having interaction sessions with the elderly, so that they can learn responsibilities. Because, you know, every action has a responsibility for it. So part of this whole idea behind this is that they can have somewhere to come, and the elder folks from the environment can come out, you know, so that these youth can socialize. Because a lot of the issues that are affecting them, we don't know, because they don't speak with a lot of people.
Okay, Mandy, thank you very much. And of course, viewers, as you know, this is Ruby. It has been good to be at Ruby, and it was good to have Mandy on the Westside Story today. Of course, when we come back into communities, other communities, because you know there are a number of communities that she does work in. Of course, let me remind you, Mandy is an APNU+AFC councillor. So there are a lot of other communities that works are ongoing, that she's doing works in these communities, of course, with the approval and through the government of Guyana. So the next time we return to one of Mandy Sugdio's communities, you'll be hearing a lot from her. But of course, in the meantime, this is still Westside Story. Our next stop on this week's edition is Parika. Stay with Westside Story. Our next stop on this week's edition was an area in Parika where the lives of some of the residents were made a little less complicated as government had restoration works done to an area that was previously in a bad state. We heard from the councillor Kathleen Armstrong and also from those said residents who benefited. We're here now at Parika. I did promise you that coming up next on this week's edition of Westside Story, we would be at the Parika area, and this is Parika Back Dam. To tell you all about where we are and what we're doing here is, of course, no stranger to Westside Story now. It's the APNU+AFC councillor, Miss Kathleen Armstrong. Kathleen, welcome again to Westside Story. Let's talk about this area.
Malika, this area is Parika Back Dam. There was a problem with the tubing. Apparently there was some conflict between the council, the NDC, and the residents who live here with regards the bridge across the street. There was a relocation of the bridge, and subsequently the residents made a complaint to the regional executive officer, who visited and made an assessment of what was to be done. On the spot, he made a decision that he was going to put the tube down and to give the residents the bridge that they so much desired. So here we are at the structure that was done last week.
Okay, and of course they've gotten that bridge. So what we'll do now here on Westside Story is talk to some of the residents who will benefit from it, and they'll tell you all about it and so on, their concerns and even how much they appreciate this. So stay with us.
It's about since 1990 I come live here. We had no facilities, not facilities. I had to leave because, and I always spend some time, come back. When I do come back, I see this place develop. I asked the chairman, I asked everyone, every meeting I went to, asked them to give me a road. They come in and build this, they dig this trench here. I had to take shovel and spade and make a road. They never do nothing to me.
And this is how long? We were talking about the fact that they never did anything.
Nothing, years go by.
Okay.
Then they come and they pave road down there. They pave road down there and leave me just like that.
Okay.
Ask the past government, nobody have no time with you. Ask them, they tell you, come make representation. Every time I go make representation, I'll come back, I'll come to you, I'll see something what can be done. Until this moment, nothing ever done. So now we decide, as the government change, I know the government want to help me. And we decide to go to the regional chairman, and they come and they assist me. And I see it right and fit that we able to have, we appreciate what they're doing for me. You understand?
So right, you are satisfied?
Yeah.
You never had no bridge across here. So we go in the NDC and they give you permission by pipe and put on here. So we put on the pipe, and when the people used to build Parika Back Down Road, they build up here nice and solid, nice way, so we can carry a truck with sand straight in the back there. So now we had access to this here, because it was a solid down.
On a lighter note, before we go from Westside Story this week, we remind you that Minister of State Joseph Harmon is the minister with responsibility for Region 3 on the West Side. Hear about his generosity as during the 2015 giving season, he treated children at Phoenix Park, Port-Droin and other neighboring communities on the West Side.
This has been the 9th year that my daughter who started this initiative. This has been the 9th year. Going next year will be 10 years, and we hope it's going to be a grander and bigger affair. When we started, there were about 50 children. Now we have actually grown to about 200, almost 250. I think that the community has benefited significantly from this activity. The children are very happy about it, and we can actually see from year to year as the children get bigger, that they're all enjoying this and they look forward to it every year. So I believe that at this time of the year, when we actually embrace the spirit of giving, the spirit of giving, because this is really about the birth of Christ and it's about Christmas and it's about giving, that we want to engage and we want to embrace all of the persons in this community. You know, this is Phoenix Park, and Phoenix Park was established 50 years ago in 1966, the same year as our independence. So that this year, in 2016, Phoenix Park will be celebrating 50 years as a community. In 1966, 65 houses were built in this community. They were built by self-help and they were handed over as complete housing units. So it is not, this was an old policy under the administration at that time for building homes and giving people complete homes, not giving them house lots. And this is something that we want to get back to, where we can actually provide for Guyanese a home and not just a house lot, because we believe that a house lot is not a home and that homes are established within communities. This, as you can see, Phoenix Park is a community, and this is really what we want to get back to. This is why the president has named the Ministry of Communities, and so we're not talking about distribution of house lots, but we're talking about healthy communities where people can live, work, play, learn, and they can be receive the facilities of health and police stations and so on. So this is the whole concept. It's not something new. It is something that has been tried and tested. And so Phoenix Park is one such example of what a solid housing community is all about. And so you can see here, these are children who actually were born in this community, raised in this community, and continue to live here. I myself grew up in this community, and therefore it's a way of actually giving back to it. My children, most of them were born and they knew this community as where their father came from, and therefore they have no difficulty in contributing to this exercise. So it's really about giving back. It's about the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of giving.
My name is Wayne Watson, and I have lots of fun for Christmas. I have now enough remote controls and stuff, enough toys.
My name is Jayla Alexis Crowder.
What did you get for Christmas?
Kitchen sets.
Are you having fun?
Yes. My name is Buddy Williams, and I was having fun here. I got some fun toys at this wonderful party.
This is where we leave you this week on Westside Story. Join us again soon for another edition.